All right, this is the one thing that I did to go from $0 to $10,000 a month with my agency to over $150,000 a month. I'll refresh my processor so you can see this real quick. I've done 200,000 gross, 177 net, and just so you can see, I'm selling this service for, on average, $500 per month. Sometimes I'll sell it for $1,000 or $2,000 a month, depending on what I'm selling. But again, I'm selling AI tools to businesses, but for the most part, 500, 500, 500, 500, 500, 500. I'm selling it for $500 a month. Now, what is the one thing that I implemented in order to actually scale exponentially from being bottlenecked at $0 to $10,000 a month? So what I did was stop selling to just local businesses. All the gurus say how I make X amount of dollars selling to local businesses, how I make $1 million a month selling websites to local businesses. Stop selling to just local businesses. So why I don't sell to AI local businesses, this is what I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to show you what I do instead to generate $150,000 a month in revenue. So limited use case, integration hurdles, high cost, lack of data, whatever. That's all nothing. I'm going to actually break it down and show you now. So geographic constraints. So if you're working within your local area, you're going to have a limited lead pool, obviously. So you're going to have a testing bottleneck, right? Higher acquisition costs, poor ROI on outreach, right? Testing bottleneck is, we're going to get into that. And then also, over here, it's going to be difficult to scale and there's going to be slow business growth. Now, this will break it down. What's a use case example for this? Say we're going after Havoc, HVAC businesses. Find local HVAC companies in local city, right? That's the goal, where we help implement AI into HVAC companies. That's what we do. Say, I don't do that personally, but say that's what we did. The first thing we're going to do is have intention. Our intention is to find local HVAC companies in our local city. Now, let's say there's 200 potential clients on average. If you live in a big city, there's probably going to be more. If you live in a small town, obviously there will probably be less. So on average, let's just call it 200 total potential clients. Now, say you send all available outreach. So you send outreach to all 200 of those clients. You might only have a 4% response rate, positive response rate. So that's 8 out of 4%. You might only have a 4% positive response rate. So that might be 8 responses out of those 200 potential clients. And then maybe you get 3 sales calls out of those 8 and you only close 1 client. So you close 33% of those sales calls. Okay, now you have 1 client. Now you need a new city to continue testing. Like, it's that simple. Now, sure, do you want to start in your local city to get some practice? Maybe. Like, for the first client, it does maybe help build a little bit of rapport, saying I'm from your city, a little bit of trust, but not enough to bottleneck yourself. So that's just, it just, you can't do that. It just doesn't work. It's not scalable. Coming here, we have geographic constraints, right? Limited scale. So target local businesses drastically shrinks your potential client pool compared to targeting nationwide digital businesses. Now, when I say digital businesses, I don't just mean online businesses. If you can go after your entire nation, your entire country, then that's going to not limit you to just your local businesses, where there might be one business that's really connected to the internet. Because local businesses are like, your regular mom and pop shop, they probably don't have a CRM. They probably don't have anything digital. They're just like, people see their brick and mortar business and they come in and use their service, and they like their service, so they come back. That's not easy to sell AI tools to those type of businesses. That's like, when you're selling AI tools to a quote unquote brick and mortar mom and pop shop, it's like, you can't just sell them. You have to explain to them why they actually need AI. You need to explain why AI is valuable before you can actually sell them on your tools. So when you have a broader range of people to go after, you can hit more digital businesses that, aren't taking cash, have a real payment processor, maybe have a CRM already, maybe already understand the value in AI, so you don't have to explain them for 2 hours on a sales call why AI is valuable in the digital age. We want to go after businesses who are competent in that space and understand that already. And really, it's not you explaining the value in AI. It's explaining the value in the partnership with you and the AI tools that you bring to the table. That's what you want to be selling. Obviously, that makes sense. Poor data quality. Now, this is a big one. This is huge. Databases for local business leads are frequently incomplete or outdated, making outreach difficult. Poor data quality. Databases for local business leads are frequently incomplete or outdated, making outreach difficult. Testing and refining is impossible. The small number of leads prevents effective testing of marketing messages. Experiments that take days with digital businesses take months locally. So without enough data, your approach becomes a gamble rather than a refined strategy. Now, this is very important. For example, I sell an AI receptionist to businesses most of the time. That's like my core offer. And I have a landing page where I'm pushing all my leads through organic traffic, through YouTube, through ads, pushing them to a landing page. And on that landing page, I'm split testing that landing page. So I'm sending half the traffic to one landing page and half the traffic to another landing page, and I'm seeing which one gets me more book calls. I don't switch out the control or the variation. I don't switch the testing between the split test in the landing pages until I have at least 10,000 views on each landing page to get the most accurate, precise data. If I was just selling to my local area, I would never get over 100 views. I'd maybe get 1,000 views tops. So the testing and refining would be inaccurate. I wouldn't be able to test my system. I wouldn't be able to see what works. I wouldn't have enough ad viewership to get a refined ad. The list goes on. So this is a huge bottleneck. You don't want to gamble with this. You don't want to gamble with your agency. You want a refined strategy that you found yourself that you've got to simply through data. And then again, high acquisition cost at the bottom. Because personalization takes too much time and bulk outreach, LinkedIn, cold email is harder, the cost per lead acquisition skyrockets. Even if you're running ads to your local area, there's such little B2B businesses here. Everyone's running ads here locally. It's like the competition is much higher. You're just going to spend more money on ads than going nationwide. And that's a big one. So what do I do instead? It's simple. Broad targeting. Now, why is this good? First off, I have cheaper leads. I'm hitting nationwide. I live in Florida, Tampa, Florida. I sell to all of US. I sell to all of Canada and sometimes even the UK. So not much anymore, but I did. It did work for a period of time. I did get a lot of clients there. Now, cheaper leads. My ad cost per result, cost per book call, cost per click is so much cheaper going the more broad I go. You're just opening up a bigger pool for the ad platform to find the right person. If you're just going to your local area, it's like there might only be 10 people who are a perfect fit for your business. So it's like supply and demand, right? There's little supply, the demand's high. Meta or whatever ad platform you're using is going to charge you more. If you go to the entire world, there might be 1 million people who are a fit for your business. More supply, less demand, cheaper ad costs. Simple. Then we have a larger TAM, right? TAM stands for in business, total addressable market. Whenever you start a business, you need to see what is the TAM? What is the TAM? Okay, I want to start a makeup business. What's the TAM? Pretty fucking big. Every single woman wears makeup. So you're talking 4 billion people? That's a huge TAM. Oh, I want to sell water. Who drinks water? Every single human ever? That's 8 billion people. That's like the largest TAM you could have, total addressable market. Now, if you're like, I'm going to sell a very, very micro cure for a very, very niche disease that like 10 people have, that's probably not the best business to get into monetarily speaking, economically speaking, because it's like you have 10 people to go after. That's your market. And maybe only 3 of them will be able to afford it. It's like, okay, how are you going to have a business with such a little TAM because you're only going to be able to get 3 people? Now, one way to artificially boost your TAM is by simply reaching a larger audience, making your reach broader, right? My TAM is going to be way smaller in just Tampa than it will be in all of Florida. And my TAM will be much smaller all of Florida than it will be all the US and all of Canada and even going global. So it's just win-win. And then another win is more testing data. The more global I go, the more data I actually get, the more leads that come in the door, the more sales calls that I take. I'm getting data, and that data can get refined. It's like if you want to be able to carve a perfect like something, you want to be able to carve through your refinement. If you had a big stick, a big thick stick, block of wood, you really get to carve it down to make it what you want. But if you're starting with nothing, it's hard to carve it into what you want. A terrible analogy, but I hope it makes sense to some extent. So the biggest thing I'm trying to get you to understand is it is so important to not limit yourself to your local area, your local business. And I think it just went viral. I thought it was the right way to at one point. It's just not once you start to scale. And if you want to have an actual business, it's just not going to work. Now, if you're curious how I sell AI receptionists, Google reviews, and websites, Google review automations to businesses, book out my calendar like this and have a lead acquisition like this, and basically follow this system where you only need 3 things to start a successful agency. That's get book calls, that's sell the service, and that's fulfill and retain, right? You need to get the book calls so that you can sell the service, because you can't sell the service if you don't have anyone to sell to. And then you need to retain the service and fulfill it properly and give them a good client experience so they don't churn and leave you. But if you can get 210 book calls a month, like we're doing here, and you can close 40% of them, which is my close rate, then you can get 87 new clients a month, 40% of 210. If you get 87 clients a month at my average ticket price of roughly $500 a month, boom, you're making $43,000 a month. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do this, but I'm just showing you the math of what this looks like. Like if hypothetically you did this, and this, and then you fulfilled and retained and gave them a great client experience, then you could be making 40+ thousand a month in revenue, right? That's just math. But if you want to learn how to set up these systems that will create a really good outcome for you, then go down below, book a call with my team, and we will help implement this entire lead acquisition system, help you scale your entire business. We'll do all of your done for you fulfillment. So if you get one of these, like if you sell an AI receptionist, we'll actually implement it into their business, and just so much more. But if you want to learn more about that, you can go down below, book a call with myself or my team, and see how we can help you start or scale your agency. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have a free Skool community down below, and I have a free agency website template down below. Check it out. You don't have to put your information in or anything. You can just take it from me and use it as your agency. I hope it helps you out. So with all that said, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.